Today I'm up early. The server actually hasn't reset yet. It's about 2 hours before server resets when these 3D spawning limited errands will spawn. So I'm gonna log in and do some of those, and I'm also gonna do some farming. Because the server hasn't reset yet, I'm still on the previous day's quota of 20 limited errands with spawn from spirit points. So at this point, I'm not wasting errands by overspawning them. If I farmed immediately after server reset, I could spawn 6 errands at once, and the 3 that I spawned from battling would count towards the 20 errand limits, 20 limited errand limits of errands that you can spawn from battling. And also, I'm a little bit higher leveled now, and I figured I'll be able to farm the stage in 2 turns instead of 3 turns, so that's exactly what I do. I go set up the replay. And today I'm heading out, which is why I'm up pretty early. And this account is on my tablet, which I'm just gonna leave at home and leave it to farm a little bit. And a little bit later, I'm back to officially mark the start of day 5. And we have the Galindo Roulette. Some of you might have noticed that near the end, just as it's about to stop, it tends to do like one last jump and jump one more space forward. And this is not just you, it seems to happen quite often. It's pretty annoying if it jumps from a 20 to a 10, but today I do get 20 rolls. I got a new friend, Lily White, which means I'm pretty much at the 18 friends needed for maximization of errands. And I also finally get the cell phone. As usual, I'm checking the shop, buying any seal crystals, I'm gonna check on the dojo, and I'm going to do some errands. Today I missed the limited errands that spawn for free 2 hours after server reset, so I'm just going to do some battles to spawn the spirit point spawn limited errands. And I only spawned 2, so I'm just doing a few more battles and that will spawn the 3rd one. Anyway, I've been clearing more of the main story, and Chapter 3 Act 3 has some really annoying enemies. These 3 wave stages all tend to have single enemies which have a special skill which gives them all targeting resist. If you look at their skill, you see all up, solo down, which means they take less damage from all targeting attacks and more damage from solo targeting attacks. This makes it really annoying because both my shots are all, so my shots just do 0 damage, and my best bet is to use a solo targeting spell card because they have less resistance to solo attacks. But I guess at this point my shots probably wouldn't kill them anyway, even without that skill, so it doesn't matter that much, I guess. But if you do have a character with like solo targeting shots or some solo targeting spell cards, then they can clear these stages quite nicely. I am trying to finish up chapter 3 to get that paper doll from the special task, but I do stop to do errands as well as keep on upgrading the shrine and the offering box, and I finally go under the SP cap and the coin cap so I can claim some of that. And I also claim my daily gifts and avoid the SP as per normal, so I don't go over the spirit point cap and I can keep claiming from the shrine. Okay, I'm clearing more of the main story, and I've reached this stage that has 6 guest characters, and for some reason people tend to have problems like clearing this stage because there's only guest characters and you can't add in your own units. I guess if they are just used to having their powerful units carry them, then they might not be able to effectively use these guest units. But this stage is actually pretty easy. You have 6 characters and just the front 3 characters can clear this stage on full auto. So if you are having trouble with the stage, you should check out my combat guide, which by the time you're watching this might be available, so that you can brush up on your basic combat mechanics. And in the meantime, just use full auto and you can clear the stage. Finally, I make it to the end of chapter 3, and I'm wondering if I can clear this stage with just the guest unit, Darkmyon. Okay, so enemy Laliko has quite a lot of HP, and I don't think I can just kill her with spread shots, or with spell cards, but she is weak to earth, and here I have a earth bullet, so let's see if I can use that to full break her and kill her. So I'm tanking a little bit here. Maybe I can tank like 2 or 3 hits. Okay, I don't think I can tank anymore, so I'm just gonna have to graze every turn. Now I have 2 power and I can start breaking her. Darkmyon does have pretty good power generation on her spread shot, so as you can see I'm using 2 power spread shot and then I'm gaining back almost the full 2 power, and then I can use another 2 power spread shot on the next turn. And she only has 1 barrier left. If I use this agility skill combined with the agility that Darkmyon gets on every boost, I should be able to outspeed her and full break her before she can attack. And now I just need to use a spell card, and this spell card does have killer on her, so it will always crit. And it also has, I believe, slicing, which means that the agility would help me do more damage. She isn't quite dead, but I do have more spell cards, and that should be enough to kill her. Yes, you did it, Yomu! Now I'm just left with the epilogue and I'm done. Chapter 3 was super long. This one, especially if you're reading all the story, there's so many stages here, and like there's four parts basically. Chapter 2 had just 2 parts, and Act 1 was pretty short, I think. But this, like I don't know, it was overall pretty short. So now I can go and claim my paper doll from the special tab, and which is the 4th paper doll. And the last one I need to fully limit break Misumaru. As a reminder, I got 3 of them from these from this special tab, from clearing chapter 1, from clearing chapter 2, clearing chapter 3, and raising Raisin to level 10. And I got the last one at the event shop. And if and the other sources of paper dolls that you can look for early on are the weekly task, where you can get a paper doll. But you need like 5 days of the week to do it, so if you started on a Monday or a Tuesday, then you can do that on the first week. Or the event's total points, which is at 250,000. I'm still quite far away from that. I'm still at 815. Yeah, there, 250,000. There is a paper doll here. So those are some of the other sources of paper dolls, and the login bonus as well might have paper dolls sometimes. So I'm gonna go ahead and max limit break my Misumaru, and this will unlock her last word, which is a very powerful attack. And let's take a look at what that can do. But before that, let's see how many seal crystals I got for clearing all those stages. Gonna press the claim all button that didn't used to exist. I used to have to press them one by one manually, but it looks like I got 52 seal crystals from all these stages. And I also have some sub quests which I have done, including all of these, which is basically some materials for 3-starring all the stages. So yeah, so a bunch of random materials for 3-starring all those stages, which basically means completing the stage without having any friends die. We are back at the event stage, and I've put a Yang attack up card on Misumaru's last word. She does have sure hits on the first bullet line, so that always hits, so she doesn't need accuracy that badly. I'm just gonna use my skills. Again, these barriers give me some buffs, and use my last word, and that should be able to clear off the stage in 1 turn. Or maybe not. Misumaru is a little bit backloaded, so this means that her last word has a lot of power locked behind. Like, a lot of the bullet lines are locked behind 3 power, so she isn't great for 1 turn farming. Unfortunately, level 88 Misumaru can't do the stage in 1 turn without the skill unlocked and without the best story cards, so it looks like I will be continuing to do a 2-turn farming strategy for now. After a bit of farming, I decide that 2 turns is still not fast enough, so I see what I can do to cut this down to 1 turn. Firstly, I go to the event's total points and claim all the rewards, including 4 story card rituals, and I also buy the story card ritual from the store. And I'm hoping to get I'm hoping to get lucky and find a better story card to put on Misumaru's last word, and that would help me to clear the stage in one turn. Unfortunately, I don't get any good story cards for that, but I do have a plan B. In one turn farming, you only use your last word, so the story cards equipped on the other spell cards never take effect, and the only thing that matters about them is the stats that they give. These cards are called stat sticks, so I sort by Yang attack and put the cards with the most Yang attack onto Misumaru's spell cards. So I go ahead and use my last word on turn 1, and it does seem to do enough damage, but I'm a little bit worried about consistency because there's a bit of randomness involved in this setup. Over many runs, I might low roll and not deal enough damage to kill Nidalee and then fail the run as a result. I kinda just did 2 manual test runs to see if I would low roll, and I did kill Nidalee both times, so I decided to just run it for a little bit and see if it fails. And sure enough, on replay number 6, I don't do enough damage, and the AI doesn't really know what to do because I only saved 1 turn of the auto replay, so it just goes into full auto, and I don't have any spell cards available because I had used my last word, so Misumaru just does some random shots until she dies. She used her spread shot a lot. If she just used her focus shot like 3 times, it would full break Nidalee and it would be fine. But the AI isn't that smart, so assuming you've set up properly, the main reason why attacks don't deal consistent damage is because the damage calculation formula has a random multiplier of between 0.85 to 1.0, so basically 15% of your damage can just be cut randomly, because that's how damage calculation works in this game. It's very similar to Pokemon. But there are additional sources of randomness in this setup, so I'm not running accuracy because this is the first bullet line, so most of the attack has sure hit, so I don't benefit as much for accuracy because this bullet line always hits anyway. So, but since I'm not running accuracy, this bullet line might not hit, so these 4 bullets might miss and cause me to do less damage. Of course, I could run accuracy, but then I have to sacrifice 2 Yang attack. So that's why I'm not running accuracy, because it's a trade-off between these 2 Yang attack or the accuracy. The other source of randomness are these skills, which give me, because they're not maxed, they're not max level, they give between 1 or 2 burns. So it either gives 1 burn or 2 burn depending on how lucky I am, and this one gives either 1 blind or 2 blind. So I got lucky this time and got 2 blind and 2 burn. Because of Misumaru's character ability, these burn and blind will give me buffs, attack buffs and some defense buffs. The defense buffs aren't entirely irrelevant because this bullet line does scale of defense, so if you have more defense, it does a little bit more damage. So basically I can get either 1 or 2 of these anomalies, and if I only get 1, then I get less buffs, so I do less damage. If I want to reduce or remove this inconsistency, the obvious thing to do is to increase my stats. So right now I'm only level 91, I can gain more levels, I can enhance these story cards so they give more stats, I can make sure I'm fully enhanced, I can use superior enhance, which I don't have the materials for right now, but I could max out my upgrade. So I could do all these things to increase my stats. But what if you're already maxed out and you don't have any means to increase your stats further? There's still a way for me to make this consistent without increasing my stats. So here I've unequipped the story card on my last word. So I will, to kind of like simulate me doing less damage. So this is what happens when I do a low roll, kind of. And I've done that so that I can save a few extra turns into the auto replay. So now I didn't kill, but I'm gonna tell the replay, oh, if you don't kill on turn 1, then do this. And I'm gonna press the focus shot because the focus shot does an earth break, so it breaks a barrier, and after 3 turns of doing that, then Nidalee will be full broken and I will kill her. Earlier in the replay, I failed because the AI didn't know what to do after turn 1, but here I'm recording 3 extra turns of focus shots, so the AI would know what to do on turns 2 to 4, which is use focus shot. And so hopefully if I low roll on turn 1, then these focus shots will still kill Little. Of course, I'm gonna re-equip the story card before running the replay. These strategies worked well and I managed to increase the consistency of the run. However, I still wasn't happy with the amount of runs I was doing. I wanted more event points to get all the stuff. So I decided to do some purple heart farming. Every friend has an affection level which starts at blue and then goes up to green, orange and then pink. And each level above blue gives about 3% extra stats. So at pink heart, I have about 9% extra stats as compared to blue heart. However, if you farm when your friends are exhausted, then they will start to lose friendship very rapidly. And you can drop below blue heart into purple heart. There's no additional negative effects for purple heart, it's just that you miss out on the 9% stats from pink heart. The bad thing about purple farming is that it takes forever to get back to pink heart, as you can see from the bar at the top. But it does mean that you can ignore morale and keep on farming overnight, although your friends might hate you for it. But before I do my overnight farm as usual, I'm gonna be completing some errands, checking the shop, going to the dojo, and completing my daily stages. My player level has increased, which has allowed me to unlock higher difficulties. I am gonna bring in a full party just to gain some EXP, cause why not? And now that I've unlocked my last word, these stages will be pretty easy. I can just press the full auto button and that should take care of the stage. So on day 5, we max limit broke Misumaru, and next we'll focus on medicine. I will be farming overnight with Misumaru, and we'll see how many points I get tomorrow. Thank you for watching and see you then.